Hi, Ann. How's it going?
Oh, it's so good, thanks. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm going to start with the hiring of obviously Jimmy Rodgers. I'm curious about just behind the scenes talking to Jimmy. What about him stood out to make the decision easy?
Yeah, Stacey, it was a lot of different things. I think the fact that, just his background and all of he's accomplished, but really from all different facets and levels, but also just his human qualities, he's genuine care, but he's, a winner, he's a grinder, very authentic, a learner, I think, with everything going on in college athletics, just everything. His head coaching experience, I think, the fact he's fair, he's excited about all the opportunities and the possibilities here at Washington State University. I mean, how much time do you have? We could go on and on. He checked every box and then some.
How many candidates would you say you narrowed it down to? I would assume Washington State was an attractive job, especially for a guy like Jimmy who's in his 30s and other guys. I got hit up by, some guys that used to coach me who wanted the job. It felt like there was a buzz around Washington State. What was it like kind of weeding through all the candidates and finding Jimmy?
Yeah, I think I was wondering if you're the one that gave my cell phone number out to all those guys.
Get a lot of calls.
Not me.
No, it was so good. It was awesome. That's one of the best parts about the process, to be honest, is I heard from so many former players here and folks, and talked to the current team, obviously, as well. But just the amount of care and excitement people had for this, I think, this hire. And so many people, that either had been here, had connections here, that really just wanted to try to help. And so it'd be hard. We talked with a ton of people between the search firm and ourselves. And then we ended up Zooming, with, I'll say fewer than 10. I'll narrow it down that much. So fewer than 10 that we Zoomed with. And then, did some in-person to just really make sure, I think that, we vetted everything thoroughly. But it was amazing to hear and see the amount of interest from people from, all different levels of the profession. And I think, points in their career and just excited about the options and the possibilities.
Hey, and as part of your first answer, you mentioned, with the way college football is now, and it kind of made me pause for a minute because it's such a loaded line because there's so many ways that college sports, particularly college football, has become so much more complicated. And on the one hand, there's lots of great stuff happening on the field. Washington State had phenomenal players this year, obviously had a great season, and then ran into the way college football is now, which is, oh God, here comes the transfer portal and here comes college football coaches, going to different places. What do you as AD has become kind of a tougher or more unexpected thing to work around, and how do you find yourself navigating it?
Boy, I think the most interesting challenge right now is letting, a lot of the student athletes know that just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean it's right for them.
Sure.
I think the transfer portal has become kind of a thing, that people feel like, well, everybody else is doing it, we need to do it too. And then, whether it be signees or whether it be current players, and then they stop and think for a minute, like, well, wait a minute, why did I choose Washington State and what has changed? And maybe nothing's changed and it still is a great place, but students, it's hard, all of us, it's human nature. You get sucked into kind of what's going on around you. So I think for me, the biggest challenge is making people realize, that it's okay to just, maybe be tempted or stop and think for a minute, but also it's okay to remember, all the reasons that draw you to some place or to someone and really realize, that maybe those things are still intact and still the same. And I know that's partially, what Coach Rodgers is talking to about with our current team, is at the end of the day, you chose Washington State for a reason and you've loved it here for a reason. What's changed and what hasn't, do you know what I mean? And just kind of giving them a chance to, be introspective about it. So I think really, helping make people realize that I think relationships and places and people and all of those things still matter.
Hey, there's an article posted a few weeks ago from Ken Zano, which questioned the, the budget and plans to support the football program there at WSU. What was your response to that, and what did you think about that article?
Yeah, I would say, relative to anything attributed to me in the article is 100% accurate. And so I feel like, we want to really, get the budget out there as a discussion and the institutional support, as a topic that needs to be kind of explored and evaluated. But, at the end of the day, we're certainly appreciative for the additional $2 million, and, we'll invest it in our programs.
Hey, out of curiosity, and it feels to me as just a football fan and viewer, like there could be more guidelines and more oversight in place from the NCAA to make your guys' jobs a little easier. Is there anything that you'd love to see the NCAA experiment with as we jump into this kind of new era of college sports?
Oh, boy. I think there definitely are some things that could go into place to make not only our jobs easier, but to be honest, being a student athlete easier.
Right.
Ironically, where a lot of these things are supposed to, help empower the student athletes, I think it's, also put a tremendous amount of strain and stress, on them. And so, for one thing, the portal date has got to change. I mean, I think that anybody who sat through, the end of the regular season and bowl season and just seeing everything that happened for many schools, certainly not just Washington State, I think that's really unfortunate, for the student athletes, for the teammates, the schools, the bowls, everybody involved relative to this level of football, at least. But I think, I don't have the answer. I wish I did, to know what is the happy medium of really, allowing student athletes to capitalize on the all of the rights and things that student athletes should be able to capitalize on without it being, kind of an unregulated free-for-all, ironically. You know what I mean? So it's just, but the portal, for one thing, to me, has got to change.
And you got the job as AD in an interesting time, and I'm thankful for you. You've done a great job with our university and leading the charge. How excited are you about the potential of the Pac-10 with the new universities and the football schedule?
Yeah, I am really excited. It's been interesting as, we've continued to kind of, interact with some of the new members that will be coming in 2026, and just really, having that feeling of really building something and working towards something, together as a cohesive unit and kind of in this time of college athletics. So I am extremely excited. I think you also have like-minded institutions that really want to prioritize the student athlete and the student athlete experience, and not just get kind of sucked into all things, money or anything else, and really lean into the things that make each university special and different. And so I'm really excited about it, honestly. I think it'll be a great, future for our university, our student athletes, our fans, really college athletics overall.
Hey, last one for me here. Obviously, nothing set in stone. It was just a report, but we're seeing that the NCAA could be discussing adding a 5th year of eligibility for all athletes in the future. Is that something you would be in favor of? Is it something that's interesting to you? What do you make of that news?
Yeah, I mean, I would be definitely interested in it. I mean, I think anytime you have a chance to extend, not only, I mean, obviously you're talking about athletic careers, but academic, opportunity, I think it's great. I mean, what our student athletes did with the 5th year that came out of COVID,
right.
I think we had many of our student athletes that were able to either finish or get a lot of work done towards a master's or, some kind of a certificate program, or, just really allow them to be on a college campus for another year and really pursue their interests. I'd be all in favor of finding out more about it or exploring it, because at this point they have, 5 years to be on campus, but only 4 years to compete. And I think it'd be nice to, stretch that out. I'd be in favor of it.
Washington State AD Ann McCoy, and you've got a very difficult job and a very tough landscape, but the hiring of Jimmy Rodgers sounds like it could be a really good one. We're so excited to see this season and obviously all of the winter and soon spring sports at Washington State. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ann. Go Cougs.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Go Cougs.
Thanks, Ann.